What do you think of when you think of Southern literature? Do you think of Gone with the Wind and the Civil War? What about Gothic literature? For me, that calls to mind Dracula and old castles. Well, what if I told you that Southern Gothic was its own genre and that it was actually very popular? My name is Mackenzie Hammock, and I am an English and professional writing major at Bridgewater College, and today I'm going to be telling you all about Southern Gothic as a genre in literature. To understand Southern Gothic literature, it's important to understand where it comes from. Southern Gothic comes from American Gothic, which comes from Gothic literature that originated in Europe. Gothic literature is a reference to the architecture style seen here and many churches across Europe. Gothic literature itself features elements of both romance and horror. One great example of this is Dracula by Bram Stoker. In Southern Gothic literature by Dr. Thomas Biera of the University of Southern Denmark, he explains that American Gothic took root in the South, particularly because of the dark, intense past of the region. Additionally, he explains that they swapped out the decaying castles of Europe for the decaying plantations of the post-Civil War South. Some characteristics of Southern Gothic literature, aside from the trademark Southern setting, include things like oppression, institutionalized racism, including slavery and lynchings, the patriarchy, classism, and feelings of alienation and otherness. So, now that you know what Southern Gothic literature is, let's talk about some examples. Some of the most well-known authors in this genre include Eudora Welty, Alice Walker, Zora Neale Hurston, William Faulkner, and Harper Lee. I think To Kill a Mockingbird by Harper Lee is the most well-known example of Southern Gothic literature, so let's take a closer look at it. In Renae Cothren's dissertation, The Evolving Southern Gothic, Traditions of Racial, Gender, and Sexual Horror in the Imagined American South, she takes a deep dive into what makes To Kill a Mockingbird such an iconic Southern Gothic novel. One of the main things that makes To Kill a Mockingbird such a classic Southern Gothic novel is the fact that we're experiencing everything through the eyes of a young girl named Scout as she grows up in the South. These things include the way that Scout experiences the patriarchy as she grows up a tomboy, the way she learns about racism from her father, who's defending a black man in court, the way she learns about classism from her fellow classmates and citizens in town, and the way that she experiences otherness with her interactions with the town hermit, Boo Radley. All of these elements combine to make up what is one of the most well-known novels in American history, let alone one of the most well-known novels in this genre. Now, despite the popularity that some of the works in this genre have gained, this genre was discredited for a long time. Originally, the term Southern Gothic was even used insultingly, often because of the dark subject matter that the story is focused on. The Mississippi Quarterly published a work by Susan B. Donaldson called Making a Spectacle, Welty, Faulkner, and Southern Gothic. In this, Donaldson explores why this genre was discredited. Part of the reason that this genre was discredited was because it became a catch-all and a cliche for all Southern literature, which isn't true. Additionally, some people even use the term Southern Gothic to explain the subgenre Southern Grotesque, which are very different. Because of this, Eudora Welty herself even rejected being labeled as a Southern Gothic writer. However, nowadays, the genre is much more embraced and recognized by those still living that participate in it, including Alice Walker. Part of the result of this recognition is that Southern Gothic has expanded into other media. Some of this media includes movies, many of which are adapted from books, but even music. One example of a Southern Gothic movie is the classic A Streetcar Named Desire, which is adapted from a book by Tennessee Williams. Another example is the recent Netflix movie The Devil All the Time. However, my personal favorite is the movie 3 Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri, which was nominated for Best Picture at the Academy Awards in 2018. Before I wrap up this video, I want to talk to you about why Southern Gothic media is important. I think the biggest reason that it's important is because these are all lessons we can still learn from today. While a lot of this media may take place in the 19th and 20th century, they're facing 21st century problems. The problems of racism, classism, and the patriarchy are problems we still face today. And by consuming media that confronts these problems, we can better learn how to identify and how to solve these problems. So, next time you're looking for a new book to read or a new movie to watch, I hope you take this genre into consideration and think about checking it out for yourself. Thanks for watching!